Sergeant and Mrs. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Is that a tub in the kitchen?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries, plus napkins, plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.
I believe the belief part was the number one thing that our players needed to make a change. I knew we had some tools there. I didn't know exactly how strong they were, but when we get into close games, guys believing that we would win instead of playing not to lose. And you hear that, but it's true.
Jason Couch is the head coach of Alma College. Under his leadership, the Scots have achieved significant success, including winning the 2022 Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association Championship, the program's first since 2004. Couch has revitalized the Scots football program, leading them to multiple winning seasons and playoff appearances. The Scots finished the 2023 season ranked number 6 in NCAA Division III. In this episode, Coach Couch discusses the significance of team culture and identity in achieving success. He shares how he has elevated the program by focusing on team values and adapting to each season's unique dynamics. He explains the use of acronyms like KILT style, climb, and hunt to develop its team's identity centered on unity, belief, and hunger for success. Stay tuned for our Winning Edge takeaways following the episode.
This episode is brought to you by our good friends at NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. I'm sure by now you've all gotten back into your Sunday routines, but they could be even better. With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get the most live NFL games all in one place, every game, every Sunday. And you can even watch up to 4 different games at once with multi-view, one of my favorite inventions of this decade. It's exactly what you need to catch all the action. Make your Sundays more magical. And also, YouTube TV is great. I got it this year. It's awesome. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries, plus napkins, plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.
At this time of the year, when we're into camp, we've brought our team through learning about our culture, and it's really time to bring those things to life, especially with team identity. And those are some of the things we're going to discuss today with Jason Couch, the head coach at Alma College, who finished number 6 in the country, an outstanding year in 2023. They were the MIAA conference champions as well. Coach, in his 6 seasons there, has really done a lot to bring this program some national recognition from where they came from. And we're going to dig into some of those things today, as well as how you can use those to build your team identity. So, Coach, thank you for joining us here on the podcast.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And, I love the podcast, and I learn from it every time I'm listening.
So with these 2 things we're going to discuss, primarily focusing on the identity of our team, we always work on culture, and those are the foundations. That's what we establish. But especially in this last year, I've talked to a lot of coaches who talk about the identity of the team every season is going to be a little bit different. And that doesn't mean your culture changes, but the identity, the way you focus, what you do, even on the field, is going to be tweaked because every year is a new team. We always graduate guys. We always bring people in, and there's going to be a new dynamic. So Would love to talk to you about that, but first kind of get into the background here of this tenure you've had at Alma College, coming from the high school level, and again, as I said before, really bringing your program to national attention.
Yeah, well, again, thank you for having me here. And in January of 2018, I was asked to come back to my alma mater. It's a unique situation for me. The only two places I have been a head coach are my high school and my college. So two places that I'm very passionate about, that I love dearly. And when I got here in 18, I was the former high school coach who I probably worried too much about stepping on toes and recognizing that I wasn't the guy that the guys chose to play for and didn't want to ruffle feathers and things like that. So I kind of just went along a little bit too much of maybe what I thought status quo. And then in January, brought in the coaching staff for a couple days before the students came back, and we just sat for a couple days and talked about who are the Scots? Who do we want to be? How do we want to be recognized, and what do we want to be known for? And one coach, of course, quickly champions and talks about that. But more so, what I wanted to focus on was the respect piece. I wanted to talk about in respect both on and off the field. So I wanted to gain respect of our faculty here, our teachers, professors. Team GPA was not where I thought it should be in 2018, a 2.63 cumulative, and then the last couple of years we've maintained over a 3.1 GPA. So we're really proud of that. And the professors have reminded me often of how much they enjoy teaching football players now. They're respectful. Many sit up front that we all preach out, right? But I also talked about respect, obviously, on the field. We want to be in consideration year after year. People wondering, how are the Scots doing this offseason? What's the recruiting like for them? And I think we've gained that attention. So out of that conversation, Coach Scotty Cole, we like acronyms around here. So he came up with an idea, a play off of me wearing a kilt on the sideline. He came up with the idea of kilt style. And so then basically we had to take all these adjectives up on our board and apply it to kilt. And so it came out to be kinship, integrity, love, and tenacity. And obviously we teach from those components often. And that's kind of the foundation of what we're about, is relationships and that kilt style mantra. And used that for quite a while, but then we thought in 2022, going into that season, that group needed its own particular identity. What were we looking for from that group? And so we came up with another acronym of CLIMB, and that represented commitment, leadership, intensity, maturity, and belief. I won't talk about all of them, but I will say that I believe the belief part was the number one thing that our players needed to make a change. I knew we had some tools there. I didn't know exactly how strong they were, but when we get into close games, guys believing that we would win instead of playing not to lose. And you hear that, but it's true. And guys, when we started to grit our teeth in the past, I think some went, oh no. And then, so how do we do it, right? I'm sure that's coming up with things is the easy. But that year, my defensive coordinator, Ryan Ettinger, came up with an idea that each coach every single day would highlight a championship team or a famous team. And so, for example, I took the Miracle on Ice, the hockey, and how did these teams show these adjectives, the commitment, the belief, whatnot. And so we showed how they displayed each of these tools to be successful on their field of play. And I think guys started to see it like, we can do this, right? And our practices just kept building one after another. We kept waiting for that letdown practice, that the first day of class practice. You're like, oh boy, this is going to be garbage. And nope. And guys came out and they were ready to get better. And it was fantastic. And so we also were able to use a visual, and we had a mountain. And, you know, I talked to the team in January, like, you tell me to climb this mountain, I'm going to tell you to get lost. I'm a former O-lineman that even continued to gain weight, which isn't good. So I'm not climbing any mountains. But if we took it piece by piece, right, the bottom part of the mountain is that off-season lifting. Then we got a little section where it's spring ball. And then the scariest section for me personally is when they go home and I don't see them. And it was nice with that visual. It kind of coincided with a very steep angle. And I said, you're going to have to face this challenge somewhat on your own. Obviously, we want to communicate, but I'm trusting that you're going to be doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. And so having that visual, I think, really helped guys. And then when we got into season and we won 2 games, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're undefeated, and people start talking about championship season, and then also facing in the last game another rival, Alma College, who was also undefeated. They wanted to talk about that, and I said, guys, we just got to 1 foot in front of another climbing this mountain, otherwise we're going to slip. And so that really helped us keep our focus that particular year, right? Be mature, handle the situation that we're in. And then, like I said, the belief part, in my opinion, is really what had the most impact. And then the next year, we came up with hunt because we thought that guys, hey, we got to stay on the hunt right now. We're not going to surprise anybody, right? There's a target on our back type of thing. And so that acronym, so this is the 23 season I'm referring to, is heart, us, now, and trust. And we use those things in a whole different variety. They mean a little bit different for everybody, but obviously the focus on us, right? That was a big one. And then go out and let's hunt. If you're hungry, like, I don't hunt personally, but if I was hungry, my big butt would be out there hunting, right? And so I told guys, man, we have to stay hungry. Don't let that 22 season be that fluke year that people are wondering if it was. And they came out and they backed it up. And phenomenal year last year. And so this year became another, guys are like, okay, now they're fired up. Come January, they'll sneak down here and look up on the boards to see if we forgot to erase anything before our team meeting to see what the next year's motto is going to be. And so this year we went with CHOP, and it's courage, havoc, which is a lot of fun to have some fun with. One can be a lot of different things. One more win, one more rep, play as one. And we, like I said earlier, we do a lot of that where it can mean different things to different people. And then that P is passion, which kind of goes with the love of KILT style. So passion's a very strong emotion. And so I also use CHOP as, Abraham Lincoln. If I had to chop down a tree, you gave me 6 hours, I'd sharpen my axe for 4, right? Like, it's about preparation. So it applies to high school too. I mean, for a long time, I was a high school coach, and I remember we had a group that we felt was acting a little entitled, almost like you get them Little Caesar's pizza, and then they ask, well, where's the breadsticks? It's like, what the heck? I just got you guys pizza. So we thought that entitlement, we're going to do a whole lot more community service. So we did Habitat for Humanity, we did breast cancer walks, and I think that showed guys of the fortunes of things that they have and brought them back down to real life a little bit more. So identifying what you need most out of that particular group is what we have started to do and where we came up with these yearly, and then we own them, right? These yearly things. So it's on the shirts, we break down to it. This year, I'm having players present on courage, havoc, one, and passion, because we got a group of 40 freshmen coming in that don't know it. And so I think that's going to be very impactful for them to hear their leaders present and what expectations and what they believe these words are.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Well, I think you guys are doing a lot of very smart things with this to bring it to life, and starting with really being intentional and figuring out as coaches, what is this next group? Who are they? What do we need as a team to get them to where they want to go, to where we want to go with them, and bringing that to life through, as you said, kind of installing it, right? We're looking at the Miracle on Ice team, where we're having the seniors present these things. From the coaching staff perspective, what's the intentionality look like over the course of the season as you sit down in meetings, as you go through practice, as you have that opportunity maybe to see like, hey, here's something this guy did on this particular play that embodies this part of our identity?
Yeah, I do think it starts with our coaches early. In camp, our coaches will, again, they each kind of take a day and they start the meeting by sharing about themselves, and I ask them to be vulnerable. And we've got coaches who have lost parents, and they talk about that. Sometimes it gets very emotional, to troubles with their children, and sometimes there's even tears. And I think the players see that vulnerability, and they're able to let down their guard a little bit, because you never really know what a kid's going through. Nobody wants to tell you some of the tough stuff. And we got kids from all over coming here. And again, you don't know truly. I mean, I've been on some home visits. I don't home visit with every single commit, but I wish I could. But that, I think, allows them to trust their coaches. And I see that it opens the door for more and more conversations, closed-door conversations, and mental health conversations, which are very important. And when they realize, like, they do care about you as a person, then some of the things that are said or actions on the field, like, I care about you as a person. You're just not the guy in this situation for that given play. And they know they don't take it personally, right? So I think that's building that relationship has been very, very important to us.
Because lastly, just looking at the translation to the field on this year, it's going to be CHOP. You certainly want your players to embody all these things. You want to see it happen out on the field. I hear coaches all the time talking about either collecting highlights or showing highlights that embody those things, potentially naming, I've seen other guys with these types of things, name a player of the week who embodies those things, etc. What kind of other things do you do, I guess, to make sure that this is staying in the forefront in the minds of the players as you progress over the course of the season?
Yeah, I like having players vote on practice players. So the defense will vote on the offensive, basically scout player or players of the week. If a coach does it, sometimes there's a little bit of other players will look and say, man, I saw that kid slacking on this particular play, and he still gets recognized. But if it comes from the players, really they seem to take more of a reward with that. And I think, again, it's kind of goes back to middle school, high school, shoot, college. When the pretty girl says hello to you, you're like, oh, my goodness, right? Well, when an older teammate says great job to a young guy, man, that's impactful. And so I talk to our older guys, our leaders, our guys that produce on the field and say, you can have an impact on a young player's life and get them, because maybe that great job on this particular play, especially early in camp, is going to keep them coming back out for the next practice. Because the last 2 years, we have not had one leave the team during the regular season. And, I mean, I think that's phenomenal. Camp's hard. They're away from home, something that nobody prepared me about, but dogs die and kids are away from home, and that's been their dog for 15 years, or sadly, grandparents and parents pass, and you're helping them work through that, and you're not sending them home. I mean, obviously, for services and things, but they come back, and they need that guidance. And so the more time you can spend with players, but also players with players, I challenge them all the time to put down the phone and talk, communicate, because some of my best friends, right, are still guys I played with, and we didn't have phones back then. We had to hang out, and trying to get them to do that more, and I do think they see the value in it. So those are just camp things. We're going to bring in a hypnotist. Shoot, we do elementary type stuff where the field is hot lava, and we'll break up into groups, and we try to blend groups, offense with defense, because it can get so divided in college. But you can use 5 items of our equipment to get the whole group across the hot lava. I mean, they go nuts over that stuff. And those are the things that we end every single night. We try to, even bingo, man. I never thought how competitive bingo would get, but we try to end every night with something fun. And I even learned last year, we were watching Hard Knocks, and guys would like zone out because they're not interacting with each other. And I got, no more movies, no more Hard Knocks. Let's just interact with each other. Silly things like Pictionary or Hot Lava is fun stuff for guys to end the day on a positive note. And it doesn't have to be, not all of them are half hour, 45 minutes, and most of them are free, I'll be honest, because we're on a budget too.
Coach, I appreciate you taking time here during camp to share these ideas with us, to teach us about what KILT style is and how that originated and how these identities and themes carry throughout the season. I love some of the ideas you shared here with keeping players engaged and interactive. And you got a big one looming here in week 1, number 24. University of Wisconsin, River Falls headed your way. We've had some of their coaches on the podcast, so we know they do an excellent job over there. But it's been exciting to watch what you guys are doing, and I certainly appreciate you taking the time to share your ideas here on the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Here are winning edge takeaways from our episode with Coach Couch. 1. Build team identity and culture in your own unique way. Coach Couch emphasized the importance of developing a distinct team identity each season. While the culture of the team remains consistent, the identity adapts based on the unique dynamics of each year's players. Coach Couch uses acronyms like KILT and CLIMB to encapsulate the values and the characteristics that define the team's approach to each season. And 2. Put an emphasis on player development and engagement. Coach Couch and his staff focus heavily on building relationships with the players, encouraging them to be vulnerable among coaches and players alike to build trust and open communication. He also stresses the importance of keeping players engaged through various team-building activities such as interactive games, team challenges, which maintain morale and chemistry throughout the season. Be sure to visit coachandcoordinator.com and check out the 10% Toolkit, which highlights our partners and some of the offers they have to you as a listener. The link to that is in the show notes. Follow all we're doing at coachandcoordinator.com and follow us on X at Coach K. Grabowski.